Well, I more or less had a day off yesterday. I went for a walk around the harbour a couple of times. Didn't bother videoing or anything. Had something to eat, had an afternoon nap, had something else to eat, and now I'm going sightseeing again today. My second to last day. I've got all day today and all day tomorrow, flying out tomorrow night. And flying overnight and getting back home Friday morning. Or is it Thursday morning? Friday morning. So I'm heading out of town, up into the hills, first of all to go to a waterfall, because I do like them, and it will be the last one I shall go to. Then I'm going to head sort of along the eastern side, but head north to just go sightseeing. There's a beach there, might have a swim, have a look, see what's there really. So it's more of the same sort of driving, and really I wouldn't have bothered doing it all over again. I've done it all now, but this is a different place and it is my last day. I shall never be here again, so I'm going to make the effort, come up to this one last waterfall, and then go down the beach and go sightseeing. Away. Just had to hide the camera. I didn't want him to think I was driving with one hand and videoing me hitting him with the other. Obviously a popular spot. It's just out of town. It's certainly not as remote as some of those other places I've been to. As I was saying, my last day here, never be here again. If I don't do it, I'll regret it. It's only going to take me an hour at the most. Come up here, consider whether I have a swim or not. Doesn't matter if I don't. I've been in the waterfalls a few times now, and if I don't go here, I might go in the sea. Might do both. See. So I've been past it once, but there's no suitable place to even remotely safely park. I did try one spot, but it was a bit slippery and muddy, and so I went up until I could find a place to do a U-turn eventually, and this is where it's supposed to be, but I don't really want to park at the entrance. I did park over there before, but I know there's a better place here, so that's where I'm going to park. It's quite wide here, and I'm almost off the bitumen, and there's room for people to get past. Anyway,
so I'm just out of Tuchang in the hills, just above this city where I'm staying, or sort of on the right hand side where all the harbours are.
So we've got a nice little view down there. We're droning, and so we'll walk up here.
So I'm feeling a bit trepidatious about this because I've looked at it and I've seen on Google Maps it's a closed gate. On the other hand, it does show the way down through there. So I'm droning it and I'm walking it and I'm hand cameraing it. And I'm going, should I be here or shouldn't be? I've just parked my car back there. I'm walking up and I see the gate Is it locked? Is it chained? What's the story here? Am I allowed to go through or not? And in the end, there's nobody around, so I decide I'll go through.
I feel like I got a bit of a spring back in my step after that heavy walk a couple of days ago. Yesterday was the 48-hour mark, and that was obviously a bit tiring. It is supposed to be down here. The gate is not chained down there. Maybe we're not supposed to go.
And so I did go. People say to me, oh, John, don't worry about this, don't you worry about that. The answer is, yes, I do worry a bit. But on the other hand, I'm not doing any harm. And if you're not doing any harm, okay, maybe people mightn't like it. And if they find you there and you shouldn't be there, what are they going to do? They're going to say, well, I understand every national, international language for F off, you know. And that's what I would do. In the meantime, I'm hoping, okay, maybe the gate is just to stop cars coming through. I come across this infrastructure and I go, okay, when I first saw it, is it a house? If it's a house, it's occupied. There was actually reasonably fresh dog poo around, so I think people and their dogs would have been there, but there was nothing going on at the time, so I thought, okay, well, I'll just have a sneaky look and find this waterfall. And so I'm walking up. This is where the waterfall's supposed to be. I checked Google Maps.
I am a bit worried in case this is private and I'm not supposed to be here, but there's no big signs up there saying don't come. I'm hoping it was just a fence off to stop people from driving down. Have all these facilities. I was a bit worried that it might have been a house, in which case I probably would have turned and gone back up. Well, as I send the drone up.
So the drone goes up and it can see no more than I can see. Well, actually, that's not quite true, because in due course you can see that darkened patch. That is the watercourse. And I have something of a story to tell about what I think happened here.
This is clearly the area where the falls are supposed to be. All I've got is a little koi pond back there.
And so I'm searching myself and I can't see. I have no access to the drone footage at this stage where I send it up on that big sky shot. And so I'm still hunting and I'm looking at all the landscape. I'm looking about where the stream should be coming down. And I have this picture in my mind of what the publicity of this area was. And so I'm walking through. I've got my hiking boots on, hoping there's no snakes, because there's a lot of warnings about snakes in these places, and also there's other animals. And so I'm just walking around going, okay, this is the deepest gully where the water should be falling if there is water. What's going on here? Nothing. I can't see whether there's any watercourse. And I don't have access to the drone footage. So I'm hunting and hunting and hunting for this supposed waterfall, not finding it, except that obviously the water is trickling in somewhere into that koi carp pool, which I saw on the way through, which I'll give you a bit of better shot in a moment. I'm hand videoing as well. There's the koi carp pool on my right. And you can just see a little bit of it. Well, you can't actually see it in this shot. And so this is the extent of these springs. And I think that this was a commercial camp that was set up.
Big carp swimming in there, probably a bit disguised. And that's about it. And then, just when I thought I didn't find it, see a creek trickling down through there. And you can just hear it trickling down through there. Nearly fell backwards into the bloody thing. I think it's a lot deeper than it looks because of the overgrowth. My guess is it's been a commercial tourist type place and hasn't been successful. There's actually a bathing pool there. I do feel I sort of shouldn't quite have been in there, so I'm quite glad to be back out. And we'll head to the next spot. Well, I'm rather pleased that wasn't the first waterfall or spring that I went to in Taiwan, but probably the last. That's just a view from just below the waterfall down over the city Tuchang.
So I'm going to overdub this last bit of speaking, which is just talking about the views and no traffic around and so forth. Because what I think is it was a commercial venture, and the publicity that you saw with wonderful waterfalls, people probably went there and found it just not to be true. And so the infrastructure that's there was wasted because tourists who are paying money to go there and camp there and stay there were seeing that it just wasn't a wonderful waterfall. So if you go onto Google Maps, you'll see a wonderful picture of a wonderful waterfall, and that just ain't there, and I think that's why they went bust.
Left turn up here, equivalent to a right turn in this road.
And so now I'm leaving some of this driving in because, I mean, I'd never been there before. I didn't know what it looked like. I'm going to imagine people who are following my channel don't know what it looks like. And this is not obviously the main commercial streets. These are little, not really side streets. Some of the side streets, like you can get a motorcycle down, and if you get your car down, you're lucky. And later on this day, in fact, had to pull over more than a couple of times to let other vehicles pass. So this is like a moderately large suburban street. And I'm still contemplating and still thinking about how you see this contrast wherever you go in Taiwan between some of the most wealthy places and some places where people must be on the bones of. It's hard to imagine how they're making $1 out of anything. Anyway, heading north. And this is now a wonderful, wonderful public coastal park.
Well, this is a complete change of scenery. There's the island out there. A lot of tourist boats go out there every day. I saw them leaving the port yesterday. And I'm just driving along to what they call the beach water park. What's about 4 minutes away. But all of a sudden the coast is available. Most of it, they're buildings between the road and the waterfront. Anyway, might have a swim, we'll see.
So here I am at the coastal park. I've parked over on the left in the sun, all the locals have parked on the right in the shade. But I got a car parked then, and then I'm going to have to explain that when I hand it back to the hire company and fill in 90 million forms. That's tomorrow. So it's an air-conditioned car, so it doesn't matter that much, unlike the old cars we used to have to drive around in all the day. So this is just a place, I don't know where I am. I don't know what I'm doing. I saw it on the map. It said it's a coastal park, a coastal water park. I thought it was possibly somewhere where you could have a swim, where there'd be tidal pools. Turns out that wasn't the case. As we get into it more, you'll see what actually was the case.
Oh, bit of a market. Look far to the south from here and you will see a small island in the sea, Turtle Mountain Island. The turtle is 401 meters high, with its head to the east and its tail to the west. The tail is made up of reef rock and the locals call it Turtle Egg Island. The vegan tiger park was originally located in the administrative jurisdiction of Chicheng Town, Yilan County. Blah blah blah. Follow the signs, self-guided tour that is filled with both education and sentiment.
I like nothing better than people telling me what my sentiments should be.
In the earlier days it was a passageway to the Lanyang Plain. In 1819 a Qing dynasty assistant sub-prefect named Jai Dongyong asked imperial permission to set up a checkpoint here to control the native Gamelan people, and built it between huge rocks on the flank of the mountain.
There are great parallels to be drawn between Taiwan and the natives of Taiwan and Australia and the natives of Australia. I'll come to that another day.
So it is very nice here. I also saw a small fishing village back that way, which I shall go back to. There's no sign that says no swimming. I don't think they have sharks here, do they?
I've never read about shark attacks in the advertiser or the Australian or the Bunyip about shark attacks in the northeast of Taiwan near Turtle Island, so I guess it doesn't happen. If you look at my back right now, you can see that it is a single tone shirt. This is shortly after I got out of the car and started walking.
That's an interesting tree shape, isn't it? I think that I shall never see a thing as lovely as a tree.
Still, only a single tone shirt as I walk around this place, but it was quite hot and humid. To me, after being in Queensland for 4, 5, 6 years, the humidity doesn't worry me that much, especially in small doses if I don't have to work too hard. If I'm walking around, it's sort of fine. I do see a lot of the tourist sites that, complain about how hot it is. I don't know what country they're coming from, but I'm guessing they've never really lived in the Capricornia in Queensland. Not that I lived there, but I lived in Sunshine Coast and Queensland and Brisbane and Gold Coast and so forth, and they're all pretty damn hot.
I really need the drone. I have arrived, unfortunately, on the morning of the brush cutters instead of the morning after. Got chicken men. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. Very pleasant here. Have to do the drone. Ni hao.
And so you sort of get used to hot weather. I know where my hot weather peak is. As long as I'm up to, below the 100, the older 100, I'm fine.
Death by a million steps.
And above the 100 Fahrenheit, all I want really to do is sit in a swimming pool or sit in the air conditioning and have a beer. But below that, I can just do what I need to do just to keep going. And I quite enjoy it in small doses. And these days, you can see it now. In this picture, you can see the perspiration starting to come on the back of the shirt, turning it into two-tone. But this was really a wonderful place through the rock formations and so forth. And you can see why the Chin, let's call them colonizers, wanted to use this place to control the natives because it's between the extremely high mountainous regions, which, as I've previously said, are gut-wrenching and gut-breaking, and I don't care who you are or how used to it you are, you would choose not to go that way, and the sea. And so by building this sort of rock or using this rock formation as part of a gateway or toll gate, they were able to control the natives as they went north and south along the east coast. At least that's my take on it. Anyway, I'm having a bit of fun and I'm exploring this in detail because it is my penultimate day in Taiwan and I'm here but once. So why would I not look around everything that I can see?
Okay, not going to risk the drone up here in case it goes flying off on a tangent, as it has done a couple of times this morning when it's hit a twig. But this is where I am, and it's not bad. It looks like another fishing port up that way, which I might nudge up to. Mountains in the backdrop. This is where the Chin built their, I suppose, block across the road in order to control the local indigenous tribes. That's the port back there which I was thinking of calling into. I don't think I shall swim down there. Or one of those back pools might be alright if I could get to it. Really quite pleasant. I might even wander through the market soon. Some sort of hut down there, cooking some sort of thing. Don't know what it is. This is a voyage of discovery for me, even though there's been a million footsteps here before. Finally getting the hang of this sports camera. I've been through about 3 or 4 of them over the last 10 years. They usually don't last the pace. I'm usually doing them in, adventure sports. And I got this one, and the only time I tried to learn it was when I was either skateboarding or jet surfboarding. And you can't see the screen very well when you're out on the surf, and so I've never really worked out what the feedbacks are. Lots of boats out there fishing, lots of boys here aqua farming. I swear I said I was going to come back, but I'll go out that way.
So I'm really having quite a nice time here on my second to last day in Taiwan. Whilst it did not turn out to be a rock pool swimming place when it was called Coastal Water Park, it did turn out to be a very, very nice place to visit, even though it had once been part of the controlling colonisers. Bear in mind that I use the word colonisation not necessarily in a bad way. Most of the time, in most of the world, the countries that are colonised are better off after colonisation. That is, of course, completely against the left-wing narrative of 2025 in Australia. but it is simply true. And it's also true that there are many countries in the world that would currently be better off if they voluntarily recolonized, because the colonizers actually did things better for the local community than the local community can do for themselves after the colonizers have left. My shirt now is two-tone, walking around for a while. It's all perspiration. Got my water bottle, not with me, but back in the car. Looking for a place to have a swim, not quite happening.
But there's no actual way down, unless, you see, that's private access from that building there, whatever that is. Oh, there's some steps down there. Although once you get down there, got to clamber across the rocks. It looks a bit like showing off. Not that that's ever stopped me, I know. Instead, I think I should go back to that harbour. There's bound to be a place to get into the water there. I try to take discreet photos as I go through here. Tourist buses are just leaving.
So this little market place was quite busy about 15 minutes earlier, when there were not one but two busloads of tourists. I might add that I haven't seen a single Occidental person. Apparently that word is now not acceptable, but Oriental is, because they use it themselves here in Taiwan to describe themselves. So why is it offensive to make the distinction between Occidental and Oriental? Yeah, people take offence on behalf of others when the others actually use the word themselves. It's quite silly.
This is not far from Taipei. There's people down on the beach there swimming and surfing. When I say not far, it's about an hour and a half, 2 hours. It comes through a tunnel. But the eastern beaches are supposed to be the surfing and swimming areas of the island.
This is just a place I came across as part of my I'm touring, I'll stop at places look interesting. So many times in my life, you can see my back now, I have a two-tone shirt from where I was walking around that last coastal park. Haven't had time to cool down yet in the air conditioning of the car. But this is like a headland, a beacon. The lighthouse is up on my left-hand side for this most easterly, northerly point of Taiwan. It's not quite the most northern. I think it is the most northeastern. And that ocean there, I don't think you hit land until maybe Easter Island and America. And so it's just a promontory, and you can see everything. And I'm droning it out and just checking out the landscape, and I'm here, and I'm here, and I'm here. Why am I here? Because I can be. To be honest, I'm quite looking forward to getting back home for a number of reasons.
Really beautiful, very neat, tidy, well kept fishing village right on the northern tip of Taiwan.
I won't pass this way again, but this was just a wonderful place. And as I've said previously, you can tell fishing villages how well they're going by how well everything is kept, how neat it is, how good the boats look, and this is going well. And either somebody is totally in charge and keeping everybody else in line, or everybody's towing the line and doing the right thing. This place over here looked to me like some sort of naval port, some sort of industrial complex, and the same things on the south side of the village as well. I was by myself to start with, but gradually people started to arrive, and I thought there was a tourist bus, but it turns out there were two tourist buses. And when I first came through the town, all the shops were like not shut, but you know, the doors were shut and they weren't exactly like opening everything. But later they were like in a frenzy to welcome people because of the tourist buses.
Oh, fortunately or unfortunately, a tourist bus has just arrived. I've counted up my cash. I have 360. By the look of that, I can afford to serve a prawns because they don't take card. And the town has gone into a frenzy of opening their doors for the tourist bus and trying to get people to come inside. They don't take cards, so I've got to make sure I don't ask for anything that costs more than I've got cash in hand, which I basically was congratulating myself for running down because I'm leaving tomorrow. And I usually make the mistake of going home with a pocket full of foreign money. I was trying not to do that, and now I found today I haven't got enough for where I need it the most. Such is life. Tiny harbour, I guess that's their fishing zones. And right now I'm here. Now go up there and put the... And right on cue. This is a beautiful place. I probably shall go just around the corner past where the fishing boat is now coming in and have a swim. It really is very pleasant here. I shall kill a bit of time before heading back. Looks like a bus load of tourists has just arrived. I do love harbours. I love little small fishing ports.
When I say tourists have arrived, obviously I mean people other than me. And I've now got the waterproof cover onto the sports camera, so there's really no point in trying to get sound out of it. But I'm down just behind where that fishing boat was. I've gone a bit away from where people can see. And the sports camera, then I'm looking down because there were fish, and I couldn't find them with the camera. The camera's, hey, there's a little one. Where's Nemo? Where's Nemo? There were 3 or 4 when I started, but they sort of disappeared when they saw me, obviously. Why wouldn't you? Everybody else does. And I leave the camera on because it's just part of what I'm doing. It's getting into the water, you know. In Queensland, Sunshine Coast, they've got stonefish there. If you put your foot on a stonefish, you die. I have no idea what the toxic or venomous creatures might be here. I haven't heard of any, I haven't read of any, but all the notices would be in Chinese hieroglyphs, and I wouldn't be able to read them anyway until after the event. And so I'm just being a little bit careful, and I've realising I'll put my foot down and I'm keeping the camera on, and it's nice to have an underwater camera. I think it's sort of, look how clear the water is, look how far the visibility is. This would be a great place to snorkel and scuba. There was a guy fishing on the pier. He didn't catch anything. In fact, he left shortly after I got in the water. I don't think it was to do with me because I wasn't really close to him. And it's amazing for me, in the sort of the tropical weather, we're talking Tropic of Cancer, how having a swim gets your core body temperature down and just makes you feel so much better for the rest of the day. What I'm saying is where else can I go? Where else can I go? And I'm realising, and I stand up and I look and I'm going, okay, well, the only place that's deeper is in the boat channel. And every place in the world has a rule that says you can't swim in the boat channel. And so I'm thinking probably a good idea for me not to have to explain to the local authorities why I didn't understand I shouldn't be swimming in the boat channel. So that's why I just got out. I had first of all, I cooled down well. You see the village, got my kit back on, and they go, something's missing. How am I getting back in the car? And then, oh, lucky I didn't leave that behind. Otherwise, I would have wondered where it was. And so this last bit of video, walking back along towards the car, the drone video obviously, and I just love these places. I've had my swim, I'm feeling cool, I'm feeling great, and places, this is a little bit of a blue, there must have been some water over the screen of the waterproof container for the camera, and I'm seeing these tourists come out of all these places which I didn't like to intrude. So I've seen them come out of here, so now I'm going, okay, well, I'll go up there and have a bit of a quick look. You see how this ancient stoneware to keep back the tides, and then that's my car there, and people just came out of there, and there's obviously signs up that are welcoming visitors. I get this far. Look at the giant stones. Then I leave.
I'm going to have some lunch and then lays out for the afternoon, read a book or something. Contemplate tomorrow, but I saw these two buildings on the way up and they flashed by me, but they're quite pleasant. They're the most pleasant two seaside looking buildings that I've actually seen that sort of look like seaside buildings.